Welcome to the Finance Geeks, a podcast about real financial planning. If you're into numbers, strategies, and building a great planning business, this is your ultimate geeky hangout.
Hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 3 of the Finance Geeks podcast. Thanks for joining us. My name is Warren Shute and I'm joined by
Paul Cleworth.
And today we're discussing planning in a world that keeps changing the rules. Tax, policy, pensions without the doom. So, Paul, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So personally and professionally, right? Personally, I went to Scotland last week, a week before last, sorry.
Great post, by the way. Like the post.
Thank you. Yes, I did a post on LinkedIn. We'll put that link in the show notes. I was very happy to go walking with my brother, as well as to see my family. I went up the Cairngorms, up Mela Bukele with my brother Alex. We did 5.7 miles up and over one way, and then the next day we did the reverse. And the skies, as you might have seen for those images, the pictures were brilliant. Yeah. It was an opportunity to be outside, be on the hills, minus 15 at the top, a bit of effort put in to get up there. And we, both of us, pretty confident had the right kit. We ended up putting on crampons one day, which was great, and using an ice axe, which is really fun. So that back to nature, love that. Obviously been doing more karting with my son, Miles. And at the moment, my children are doing various things. Rory's doing a SATs at school. I think he's done his maths today, did his English last week. He's doing piano exams. Miles has got to choose his, courses and for his GCSEs soon, his subject matter. So it's all going on with children. But the tests and trials and tribulations of being a parent, hey, it's far easier at work. At home's the hardest bit, as much as it is the fun bit. Went to Metro Bank professionally to open up a safety deposit box. Not done that before. That was quite an experience. Thought, why did I do it?
Yeah. Just like you just wanted to go back in the 60s.
No, it's. I knew that it would reduce my home insurance by having one. So we did actually put some, jewelry and watches and stuff in there. It was opened my eyes. They've got those 6,000 security boxes, safety deposit boxes at the Metro Bank in Luton, and it took about 2.5 hours to do. I'm not sure it was worth it in the end.
Oh wow,
it's kind of fun.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that film about when they nick all the stuff out of the safety box? It's a great film.
Which film?
I'm going to tell you. I'll have to.
Sounds like
Nicky.
Ocean's 11 or Snatch.
No, it's in London. It's in London, and when I think the royalties got a load of photographs of the royalty in there and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, royal family. It's very, very good. I'll ask Nicky what it's called. I'll let you know.
Well, I'd like to.
If you're listening to this and put it in the comments. Then remind me.
I'd like to think it's reasonably safe where it was. Listen, the last couple of weeks professionally, lots of client meetings, lots of reviews. I'm not sure if it's getting easier or harder or whether I'm trying to overcomplicate it myself. But, with the clients that I'm working with, the reviews are now more to do with income strategy, IHT mitigation, gifts to kids, use of trusts. I did have a new sort of prospective client come to see me where don't deal with this often, where there's a lot of money in an investment business as opposed to a sort of trading company, and there are different tax implications, as you know, as to how best to structure that to get money out, to what do you do with the money in it. And then lastly, I've been figuring out AI, as I think a lot of people have. I've been trying.
Have you figured it out?
Well, no, probably not yet. Look, there's nobody comes around your office and say, this is all the software you could use, this is how it works. You've just got to have a go and figure it out yourself. That's what I've been doing. What about you, Warren? What have you been up to?
Hey, in the house, it's pretty much DIY, house improvements, renovations, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So electricians all around today doing testing. I've had decorators in the whole time. Gone down your avenue, started playing with gadgets. So I've had a couple of robo mower people out talking to me about robo mowers. It sort of grates on me a little bit watching the gardeners just cut the grass. I'm like, just get a little mower to do that. Just get a robot mower. So
you're going to go down that route. They have them at Hatfield House, really large ones that via GPS. Go out, cut the lawn, go back, and it's lazy though, isn't it? You should at least get a sit-on lawnmower.
Some work on mapping, some work on 4G, 5G, that sort of thing. But we bought ourselves a couple of e-bikes at Christmas, and we've just managed to get out on them because it's got a bit warmer. So Nicky and I took a cycle into Somerset. So that was a bit of fun. So
these are all age-related and lazy things we're talking about.
On my probably it is because on my birthday I've said to her I want to go, and there's a nice little wine bar we go to and get some food. It's like a tapas bar, and I want to have a boozy lunch and just stay there and cycle back safely soberly, obviously, on the path.
You know, the bike is not like an electric vehicle where it sort of guides itself and drives home.
No,
You have to still steer it.
It'd be a bit of fun though, wouldn't it? It'd be a bit of fun. And I got my first round of golf in. Got my first round of golf in of the year since about October time. Yeah. Since
at your local club.
At my local club, yeah. I only did 9 holes because of time. I just squeezed it in.
Sub 50? Sub 45? What did you get?
Do you know what? I actually decided, I'm not going to be honest. I'm just not going to tell you an answer because it would be too much ammunition for the future. But this way, I need to get out a lot more because I'm playing at Sunningdale with Jeremy Vett and Nick Alston from Brett Financial in a few weeks. So
I could not play for 2 years, go up against you and still beat you.
Yeah, I know you could, Paul. Yeah, you could. You could in anything, mate. Not even golf. You could beat me in even the history of Warren, I think.
What about an arm wrestle? Do you think I could beat you in an arm wrestle?
Absolutely. Those guns you got on you there, the amount of weight training you've been doing, bodybuilding. You're looking great, by the way. Looking very good. Very lean. Must feel that wine you're drinking.
That does not help. Should we get on with it and talk about
this
main topic?
Let's move on to the main focal point of the day. Planning in a world that keeps changing the rules, tax policy and pensions. Where do you want to go with this, Paul? What's your sort of thoughts?
Well, I think we should open up by talking about the fact that it still gives us a job when the tax changes. It keeps us in work. It's difficult to be to not be frustrated. And if you've ever thought, I finally understand the pension rules, and now they've changed them again, you're not alone as a listener. Yeah. It's planners. I think as a planner and as planners, we feel overwhelmed as well. It's sort of really annoying when they change the goalposts and, things that have happened, pension lifetime allowance abolished, then effectively reintroduced via limits, annual allowance changes, state pension creeping up, tax bans frozen, with now fiscal drag, dividend allowance slashed.
I hate it when they change it almost like retrospectively, that kind of thing. So you kind of have these plans. So when I started in the business that many years ago, I could have retired by now on my pension. The normal retirement age for a personal pension was 50.
Yeah,
I was like, I could have retired on that by now. Yeah. And then it went up to 55, and I'm going to be caught by the 57 ban.
Oh, yeah,
and you're like, hey, come on, I understand you're going to change it, but maybe say any contributions in from today will be 55. Any contribution from today will then be 57. You have these phase, you have these 3 pension pots.
For us as planners, as well as these bans changing, and we mentioned a few of them there, but including things like CGT allowance has been reducing dramatically, and compliance and regulation has been going up and up and up. And there's this constant sort of speculation about what might change next. And so we've just had the budget, the spring statement. We've got people in charge that perhaps don't understand that making too many changes is a really bad thing.
You could have stopped it. Don't understand.
You don't understand. Full stop. And if you've got, if you're trying to plan, and the goalposts are changing and the rules are changing constantly, it does make it particularly difficult to do so. And here's the sort of key question: this is what I've been thinking about. Is the world actually more unstable, or are we just more aware of all the changes? Governments have always changed tax rules and policies always evolved, but now the noise is even louder. So it can feel like you're sort of building castles on sand. You build a plan for a client, and I've got, like yourself, loads of clients that have maxed out their pensions, used carry forward, built up a big pot, and now they're being told that from April 27, they form part of the estate. So some of them were trying to mitigate IHT or doing it for that reason, and in some people haven't accessed their monies. Perhaps they should have drawn them earlier in hindsight, but it's very frustrating.
But it's like when I meet with clients and build a financial plan, I sort of say to them, look, it doesn't really matter what's happened in the past. We just have the information here. We deal with the information in front of us and the scenario we've got, and we just plan out. And that's where, dare I say it, keeping flexible, because some people sort of say to me, why do you use GIAs and why do you use offshore bonds? Why don't you stick to one of the? And I think what you do is you tax you tax wrap or diversify. Yeah. I'm a bit of a hypocrite insofar that I don't really advocate property as an investment to diversify it that way. But tax wrap or diversification, if they really sting you with capital gains tax, or if you've got a higher income, you might want to use allowances the other way. So you just got to kind of like build a plan that's flexible but has meaning.
You do, and in the same tone, if you like, we've got to be aware of the fact that although rules change, the principles don't. The core things that any good financial planner will talk about is things like spend less than you earn, avoid bad debt, build cash reserves, invest regularly, use tax wrappers that are available today that you just mentioned there. The various ones, the main four for us will be GIA, ISA, pension, and some form of onshore, offshore bond. And we've got to think long term and not panic, because although the wrappers and the sort of tax rates and the rules change, behavior doesn't, or rather it shouldn't. So the tax code is fluid. Human behavior is the real constant. And
Constantly
that's where
erratic.
that's where outcomes are decided. What did you say?
Constantly erratic or
Constantly
unreasonable.
erratic. Don't you think though that with the world being as fast and as loud and as noisy as it is at the moment, I do not begrudge anybody for struggling to comprehend, the idea of planning, or the complexity in finance now just seems to me, more so than it has been previously. And we're supposed to be the voice of reason, the voice of calm with our clients, because what's the alternative? What, to panic for them? To sort of just not do something, to not bother, to not plan?
I think what we do is we filter out the noise. We filter out the noise and just give them the clarity of, okay, these are proven principles that have succeeded over time. There's no reason why they should falter now. And this is what we're going to do. And just have the stepping stones of the, building the emergency cash, like you said, start building and saving regularly. But I think the bedrock that we do is communicate. So on Saturday, was it they invaded Iran? I went on my computer and bashed out a communication to all my clients, just got it checked over and just got it sent out over the weekend, so that when they got it Monday morning, if the markets opened up down, there's some communication to say, hey, look, these things aren't new. This happened before, and they know that we're on it. We know they're there. We're holding their hand during these tricky times.
Yeah, no, the communication is definitely key. I didn't do that myself just yet. I think partly because still don't quite know what the plan is, and obviously Mr. Donald Trump doesn't know what the plan is either. But it started. We had a couple of days negative in the markets, and then we've had a slightly more positive day yesterday. And it's we've done it in the past during Ukraine-Russia war, when it did have a big impact, and I think it was February 22, and we communicate with all clients then. And I remember, you think, well, how often they're reading the same things as me? It's not for me to try and explain the conflict or the issues that are going on, but just to try and re-emphasize or reassure them, or talk about behavior, and just remind them that actually, these are temporary declines, these things happen, and that, without saying don't panic, you're basically trying to get that across, aren't you?
Yeah, just to reassure them the strategy. It's you'll have your way of doing things, which will work. But ours is very much that anything you need in the next 5 years is already secured. You've told us that you're likely to want this money, even if the markets do bounce around a bit. They're very likely to recover. Unfortunately, sadly, markets tend to do well during conflict. So although we're not investing for that reason, over time they'll recover, and we've got our money secured.
Elaborate on that point. Which conflicts are we talking about? Because I'm not sure that always stands to reason. I mean, when we had Ukraine-Russia war, we did see drops in bonds considerably because of raised oil prices and energy prices. So do you mean certain stocks, or?
So the markets, so look at the stock markets, have generally done well during times of conflict. I think when you're looking at the Ukraine war, you were talking about long-dated bonds. And hey, for the record, I don't think anyone should be in long-dated bonds, whatever unless you're a defined benefit pension scheme provider. But yeah, the volatility is volatility there. But I think because government spending generally increases, that's my hallucination of it. Government spending increases, more money goes into defense stocks. And then the spending goes out from there. But yeah.
Okay, just
I'm sure Timeline have got a chart, and it's going to show the market. show these. They have some fantastic.
There will be.
They do. They have some great charts. I think Abraham's a fantastic character out in the financial services world, and the charts they produce are great.
Let's talk about timing, right? So clients are thinking, and we refer back to our sort of key title here, world that keeps changing. How do you sort of plan for it? there's this illusion, isn't there, of perfect timing. So more so for new clients that you might take on board that you've not yet in your under your wing. But there are people out there that think, I'll wait to see what the government does. I'll wait to see what happens before I make a plan. I'll wait until this point until I start funding my pension, or so there can be some people who do retain monies in cash because they're not thinking long term, because something's going on in the world and things are changes, and say, I'll wait till the next budget or the new tax year to do something. And I think what we're talking about here is, the constants of spend less than you earn, and make sure you pay down debt and fill ISAs and fill pensions and make use of your allowances. If you just do those things, long term things tend to even out, and you benefit from the compounding and so forth. And the sort of irony of it is that most people delay action because of the possible future changes, and they end up worse off regardless of what actually happens.
Yeah, you have to encourage your clients, and if you're a retail investor, you need to control your own emotions and take charge of your own destiny, your own future, and not leave it to anybody else. Dare I say, even your financial planner. You're working in harmony with him or her to produce your outcome. The only sort of, well, not the only, but a bugbear that I have is when clients say, oh, okay, I've got a 20,000 or 40,000 ISA between a couple of us. That's what we'll invest. I'm like, no. You don't invest the allowances. That's what the government say you get tax free. But how much do you need to invest? How much is available to invest? What do we want to achieve? And then we'll just fill the allowances as they come. But when people just say, oh, that's my pension allowance, that's my, I'll maximum fund that. Yeah, do that. That's a great thing to do. But let's do what's the right thing for your family unit, not what the government say you can do.
So let's talk about control versus no control, and controlling what you can. Things we can't control. Volunteer one. What can't we control?
What other people think of us.
Yeah.
Or other people's
from a finance point of view, we can't
other
control
people's decisions.
Yeah. We can't control things like policy, budget announcements, when the state pension age changes and these tax band freezes, or political ideology, or sort of the regulatory burden, tricky word to say, that we have. These things, as an advisor, we can't control. But what can we control, Warren? Things we can control.
How we feel.
Yes, yeah. Anything else?
Well, we can control our actions, can't we? So we can control how much money we allocate from our income towards our future finances. We can control our decisions. So what things we're looking to achieve in our outcomes.
The other thing that I like when I talk about control with clients is we can control, to a large extent, how much you save or spend per month. We can control the savings rate that you get in an account, because I see accounts like you'll do that are 1 or 2% or nothing, and you can get clients to get a better rate. You can control the diversification of both the tax wrap of the assets, the asset allocation, and we can control, I think, the costs, as we do with our sort of low cost, passive evidence-based investments. And then the other two big things that come into the behavior element for me are the discipline. I think as an advisor, you're helping the client with the discipline of continuing to pay in and not look at it. And then lastly is our reaction as individuals. We can control our reaction, if we try, to our response, if you like, to what's going on. It's quite hard to do, isn't it? Because I think it's something one learns to do or is encouraged to do. You can either panic because there's a bomb being, a war going on and things, or you can control your reaction.
That's the gap. It's the stimulus response. It's the gap. So we have a stimulus of a bomb going off or an interest rate change or something. And then we have the gap, which is the moment of peace, of decision making. And then we have a response. And it's in that gap that really makes the difference. And if we can...
It reminds me of Carl Richards, doesn't it? The behavior gap.
Yeah, I guess
it's still a gap, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the gap. It's the similar side. It's the behavior. How are we going to respond or react to that stimulus? What's happened? It's when someone says something to you negatively, whether it's verbal or whether it's an explosion on interest rate.
Yeah.
So what? What are we going? That's the massive expression Paul Etheridge always used to say is, so what? What are we going to do with this information?
Yeah.
And then how are we going to respond?
It's not for us to be judge and jury with our clients, or to embellish their complaints or make them feel worse. It's to make them feel better, to help them see reason. And the energy that we spend complaining about whether it's the advisor or the individual, about tax changes and things like that is energy that you're not spending trying to improve your own position. You've got to make decisions. Life's about making decisions. And I think what we try to do is empower our clients to make great decisions and see the benefit of that. This is where you're adding the value, isn't it? So
Yeah. In to be fair, for me, I think that's one of the reasons why I still love the profession, is because it's not the same. You know, you're absolutely right. Things change all the time. And I think it gives us a lot of variety. We have to stay on our games. We have to constantly learn. I think as human beings, we like to grow and improve. And we can't just rest on our laurels thinking we've got it nailed. We have to keep constantly developing, bringing solutions to the client that will help them live their life that they want. You know, navigating the headwinds of tax policy, government legislation, and dare I say it, conflicts.
You've got to empathize with them to an extent. And I think when you're having a chat with a client on the phone, by Teams, or in person, the job of a good advisor is to listen to the client and observe what they're doing, hear them, almost repeat back to them what you've heard, and then sort of empathize with them, yes, but at the same time say, look, what are we going to do about this? And as you mentioned, the so what comment from Paul Etheridge, I really like that, because it says that there's a decision to be made. My job as the advisor is to help you do something about this. You know, you've come to me for advice. My job as an advisor, yes, I'm a planner and we plan for the future, but my job's to give advice. Planning in itself isn't about certainty. It's in times that change, it's about adaptability, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the key mindset shift that you have to have. And clients often think sort of planning means locking into certainty, but in reality, planning means creating flexibility in an uncertain system.
Do you know what? That's a really good point, because I think what we crave is certainty as individuals. It is. It's a great point. You should give yourself a pat on the back. It's not often you come up with something so profound, really. But no, but I think we are. We as individuals, we often, not always, but often crave certainty. But what we've got really is uncertainty. And it's managing that uncertainty. But I think what the plan does is gives us a certain track, a certain path or financial roadmap to follow. And we know if we, as long as we stick to those fundamentals that you're sort of saying, save regularly, pay down bad debt, that kind of thing, we're going to achieve our outcomes that we want.
And good planning sort of assumes that tax rates will change, that markets will fluctuate, that governments will meddle, and that the rules themselves will evolve. And I think that what we've got to do is to build resilience around that. I heard Bear Grylls on a YouTube clip the other day, and I can't remember who he was talking to, but it really stuck with me, that especially when he was talking about children in schools, he said one of the best things that you could teach a child, whether it's as the parent or as the teacher, is resilience. He said, and he talked about the Scout motto, do your best. He said, it's not be the best. You can't just try to be number one in everything. You just can't be the best sportsman, the best academic, all the rest of it. But you can try your best. Sorry, you can do your best. And it's being the best version of yourself. And that's the resilience there has to translate to real life as well, because the plans that you and I will make will be adapted and will change, and you make the most of the information you've got. And we project at 6%, as we know that the high equity components of the portfolios will get a better return than that. We're building in a bit of pessimism and realism to these plans. I want my clients to hit their goals and live the best life and not need to worry about all of this stuff.
I think I've just started doing a few posts on LinkedIn actually about, you know, almost like client histories, when the client's been with us 7, 8, 10, 12 years or whatever, you know, where they were, where they are now. That's all obviously anonymized, but it just really shows that by following a disciplined approach, putting money away, going through financial crisis, high interest rates, low interest rates, different things, people still make progress. They still keep moving forward. They're still achieving their outcomes, their dreams.
And I love that the progress, the concept of making progress, and what everything that it means. You can see it financially when the pots go up in value, when the debt goes down, when you're getting closer to your plan, your goals. And we talked about this a lot, about not just saying I'll be happy when I get there, but enjoying the process.
The journey,
but
yeah.
if you know that you're doing the right thing because you're willing to take the advice and you're putting the money away and you're covering the shortfalls, the what ifs, you're planning for the having a will, LPAs and protection. You've got everything in place. You can only be then pleased that, yeah, I've done that. You don't have to shout about it and scream about it. And I've got this money. And you just said, I've done my best here. I've got these things in place, I'm diversifying, as I said before, across the tax wrappers. I've got money in different pots. I'm a big fan personally of segmenting money, premium bonds, cash here, GIA, ISA, pension bond. Get that to the point where you're happy with that level of admin. You're sort of planning across the future, but across different tax treatments, different time horizons. And with this plan in place, if you can then give that client peace of mind because of it, then you've done your job.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think, we kind of crave, we're faced with a world of mass uncertainty. Okay. And whether that's through conflict, tax changes, policy changes, AI, we haven't even mentioned AI yet. We're all going to be out of work and AI is going to run the world. And, if you listen to Musk, we still really have to make a plan for the future. And I think what we do for our clients is give them consistency and confidence, and dare I say it, leadership, in a time of uncertainty, and just navigate them through these uncharted waters. And it's something that I'm incredibly grateful for, and I love doing. It's good.
Have you felt we should do a podcast perhaps on AI in itself? It's like when you show someone who's never used it what it can do. It's like showing them fire for the first time or something. It's like, oh my God, I didn't believe it. And then there's other people that are so far down the rabbit hole with it, and their beliefs are different. Maybe they're twisted a little bit in terms of what the future is predicted to be.
I use it for a whole manner of things, from the extreme. So I use it from being in a restaurant, taking a photograph of the wine list, saying which wine would I like, and it comes up, it tells me. Honestly, it works.
Is this all because you're indecisive and you just thought you're lazy?
No,
that's the thing with it. People put it in and they go, "What should I do?"
Yeah, no, I just don't understand wine so much, but I know what I like to drink, but I don't care to learn about them. So do it from that end. This morning I was asking it whether I need to do testosterone replacement therapy. It was looking at all my I'm 51 years old, it's like it was looking at all my health records on the server and stuff like that, give me all that, and come back, said no, you're fine. But it was interesting.
Let me state for the record here that the key line that comes to mind for me, that information is not wisdom.
No.
And you can know all this stuff. You can put it all in amazing prompts, and it's amazing what it can do. ChatGPT, Perplexity, there's loads of them. Saturn, Marlou. There's so many. Now I'm getting into Claude and looking at that. And we're obviously digressing here, so I appreciate that. But it comes down to this point to me is, if you want advice as a consumer, go see a financial planner. If it's financial advice that you want. And find a plan, stick to the plan. They will help you make a good decision. When it comes to things like your health, as you were mentioning there, Warren, it's a good thing, a source of it. And you're a smart bloke. You can put in a good prompt. You can take action from it. But ultimately, when I was asking it the question the other day about my dad, when he said he's had dizzy spells, and I was trying to put his symptoms into it, and it gave me a raft of things. I am not a doctor and medically trained, so I suggested to him, you probably need some electrolytes so you could absorb the water. And he went a bit better because he said he was dehydrated. He said that could be the reason for it. And I read about it, and I was thinking, if I tell him to do this and he has it, and he has more sodium, his blood pressure goes up and he keels over, then it's not for me to give that advice. Stick to what you know.
Yeah.
And, just be cautious about doing what AI tells you. We're all going to become robots.
Okay, so should we call it a wrap for today in relation to the uncertainty in the world in what we deliver?
Yeah, we should. This modern world that we're in at the moment, as I said, it feels really quick. It's fast. It feels like chaos. And honestly, guys, social media, top tip to everyone listening, don't watch the news. Maybe read it on your phone a bit. God forbid, don't doom scroll on your phone. I know we're preaching here, but the fundamentals of wealth have not accelerated. They're sort of, the compounding still works. It takes time. Discipline beats brilliance. There's no magic formula. There is no, and behavior beats prediction. Get the right strategy, get the behavior right, and the routine right, and the speed of your wealth creation is not equal to the speed of information. There's a lot of information out there.
I think what builds confidence as well in your delivery is when you look back on your past. So if you look back at your client's history, we record their net worth. That's a good KPI. So we record and we show our clients' net worth increasing year by year. And the software can project it out forward. that gives you some confidence in the service you're delivering, saying, actually, this works. This stuff actually does work. I'd love to one day take on like an undergraduate or even a postgraduate doing a PhD and get them to do some do some research on, okay, look at the history of our clients' wealth increasing. Now go out to the general population and do that. And and how are they doing? I thought you said they did better. And how are we doing compared to the general population? What is the value add? And I know we're talking about a metric here of net worth, and that isn't what financial planners just deliver, but it is a metric that we get measured by. So I think that'd be great bit of research.
In going back to the title of this, in a world that sort of keeps changing, if the rules keep changing, you've got to decide what kind of a person you are if you want to succeed. How do you act under uncertainty, and how do you adjust when times are tough? Do you overreact? But as long as you keep moving forward, that's the key. Keep moving forward, keep making progress. Progress over perfection is my mantra.
We said that quote earlier about the Cubs.
The Cubs. The Scout motto.
The Scout motto. My son's house at school club motto was keep moving forwards.
Nice.
That's nice. I like that. I often remind him about that. So anyway, got any Q&A for me today?
So yes, two or three.
Okay, so let me start and then you go.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
No, you start actually because you got more than me. So you go, then I'll go, then you can.
I'm going to do some quotes because we've been rambling on a little bit. So John Templeton, my favourite, one of my favourite quotes in investing.
Sir John Templeton.
Sir John Templeton, yeah. The four most dangerous words in investing are, this time, it's different.
It's different. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. Okay, so I got one on planning, and I've got planning isn't about predicting the world. It's about preparing yourself to thrive no matter how the world changes.
Very good. Who said that again?
ChatGPT.
Oh, that's terrible. I always think you attribute these to someone decent. Oh, ChatGPT. We cannot attribute to that. Disregard that last one. It was made up. Epictetus, proper stoic wisdom. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Well, is that financial planning in one sentence or what?
Yeah, I think
control what you can and don't worry about the rest is the way you interpret it. Do you
know
what Warren Buffett said? You don't need to know what the market will do next week to build wealth over decades. That's what he said.
Yeah. And that's how appropriate is that right now when we don't know what the market will do next week, give or take the rockets flying around, some stupid... Anyway, let's not go down there. It's hey, is that a wrap for today?
Pretty much.
Thanks for joining us on the Finance Geeks. That's it for today's session. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Finance Geeks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. Drop your comments and questions on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on social media. Join us next time for more insights to boost your financial planning game.